Hey, this is you, lounging in your steamy shower, lathering up with that fancy body wash that smells like a tropical vacation you'll never afford. Hot water cascades down, fogging up the mirror, as you belt out off-key tunes like nobody's listening. Pure bliss, right? Cut to 1,000 years ago. This is your ancestor, knee-deep in a muddy village square, reeking like a forgotten gym sock. No name that matters. No shoes worth mentioning. No clue you'll ever exist. If this poor sap slips up, catches the wrong bug, or starves in a bad winter, you vanish from the timeline like a bad plot twist. But here you are, existing only because generation after generation dodged death's curveballs in ways that'd make modern you curl up and cry. Today we're diving into why medieval Europeans were terrified of taking baths. A fear so deep it shaped survival, stench, and society. Let's get right into it. Picture Europe after the Roman Empire crumbled, around 476 AD. Those grand aqueducts and public bathhouses were engineering marvels, feeding thermal spas where folks soaked, socialized, and scrubbed off the day's grime. Romans bathed daily, believing it kept the body balanced and the gods happy. But as barbarians sacked cities, infrastructure went to hell, literally. Aqueducts cracked, baths became ruins, clean water turned into a luxury only the elite could chase. You're a grubby peasant in 10th century England, staring at a crumbling Roman bath like it's a haunted relic. The air's thick with the tang of unwashed bodies and livestock manure, your personal perfume. Bathing? Forget it. Water's hauled from a filthy river that doubles as the village toilet. One dip, and you're inviting every parasite to a pool party. In your pores. You splash your face if you're feeling fancy, but mostly you rub down with a rough cloth and pray the fleas don't stage a coup. The consequences? Hygiene plummeted, leading to rampant skin infections and a life expectancy hovering around 30 if you were lucky. Towns stank so bad, visitors gagged from miles away. But hey, at least you survived long enough to pass on those resilient genes. Unlike the guy who tried recreating a Roman soak and drowned in his own regret. Speaking of holy interventions, let's see how the church turned cleanliness into a sin. Fast forward to the height of the church's grip on Europe. Around the 12th century, the Catholic Church wielded more power than any king, preaching humility and piety. Bathing, though, that smacked of pagan excess. Those Romans with their nude communal dips, basically orgies waiting to happen. Saints like St. Francis of Assisi championed poverty and filth as paths to godliness. Theologians warned that excessive washing stripped away the soul's protective grime. By the 1300s, public baths were branded dens of vice, where sin sloshed around with the suds. You're now a devout villager in medieval France, crossing yourself at the mere whisper of a bath. Your priest thunders from the pulpit, "Cleanse thy spirit, not thy flesh." So you skip the scrub, layering on woolen tunics that haven't seen water since the flood. The itch? Divine penance. That boil on your neck? God's gentle reminder to focus on prayer, not pampering. You douse yourself in rose water, if you're posh, but mostly you embrace the crust as a badge of faith until the lice turn your scalp into a battlefield. Factually, this led to epidemics thriving in the unwashed masses. The church's stance indirectly fueled outbreaks by discouraging hygiene. Millions perished from preventable crud, all while cathedrals rose on tithes from the stinky faithful. Ironic, isn't it? The path to heaven, paved with good intentions and bad odors. But wait, doctors had their own twisted take. Let's diagnose that delusion next. Enter the era of humoral theory, dominating medical thought from the 5th to 15th centuries. Courtesy of ancient Greeks like Galen. The body's four humors, blood, phlegm, yellow bile, black bile, needed balance, and bathing supposedly opened pores, letting in miasma, that invisible bad air blamed for every ailment. Physicians prescribed infrequent washes, warning that hot water weakened the heart and invited plagues. Even queens like Isabella of Castile boasted bathing only twice in her life, birth and wedding day. a jittery merchant in 14th century Italy, eyeing a tub like it's a coffin. Your doctor, in his bird-beak mask stuffed with herbs, lectures, bathe, and you'll flood your body with pestilence. So you opt for dry cleaning, wiping with linen undergarments, changed daily if you're wealthy, or monthly if you're not. The sweat soaks in, the dirt cakes on, and you convince yourself this natural barrier keeps demons at bay. But that persistent cough? Just ignore it. Better than risking a soak that could melt your innards. The Black Death in 1347 to 1351 killed up to 200 million, partly because unwashed bodies bred fleas, like a bad investment. Doctors' advice amplified the horror, turning potential prevention into paranoia. Hilarious in hindsight, your ancestors dodged bullets by staying dirty, only to get mowed down by the filth they feared to wash away. And daily life? Oh, it got even grosser. By the late Middle Ages, around 1400, 1500, urban life exploded, but plumbing didn't. Cities like London dumped waste into streets, turning them into open sewers. Bathing required boiling water over fires, time-consuming, fuel-hungry, and risky in wooden hovels. Instead, folks turned to perfumes, pomanders, spice balls, and frequent clothing changes. Nobles used scented oils. Peasants made do with herbs. Public baths lingered in some areas, but were rare, regulated, often segregated, and pricey. You're thrust into the role of a crafty artisan in medieval Germany, navigating a world where BO is your baseline. Bath day? Once a year maybe, in a communal barrel that's more broth than bath water. You combat the reek with a sachet of lavender tucked in your crotch. Classy, right? Meals involve hands caked in grime. You wipe on your sleeve and call it seasoned. Intimacy? Let's just say your spouse's aroma is the ultimate aphrodisiac or repellent. You joke with mates at the tavern. Cleanliness is next to godlessness. The fallout? Skin diseases like scabies ravaged populations, poor hygiene crippled armies. More soldiers died from dysentery than swords. Yet this aversion birthed innovations, like distilled alcohols for rubbing down. Darkly funny, your lineage endured, because they mastered the art of aromatic camouflage, fooling fate one whiff at a time. But when plagues hit, the terror peaked. Let's bubble up to that bubble-bursting finale. The Black Death wasn't just a blip. Recurring plagues through the 1600s solidified bath phobia. Authorities closed bathhouses, blaming them for spreading corrupt vapors. Medical texts claimed immersion diluted vital spirits, making you susceptible to everything, from leprosy to lunacy. By the Renaissance edge, even explorers like Columbus sailed with crews who hadn't bathed in months, prioritizing prayer over purity. A terrified survivor in 15th century Spain during another outbreak. Neighbors drop like flies. The town crier bans baths, lest ye invite the devil through your skin. You huddle indoors, smearing yourself with vinegar and onions. Supposed plague repellents that make you smell like a pickled nightmare. Washing? Suicide. You burn your clothes instead, emerging soot-streaked but safe. The paranoia peaks. Is that itch a flea bite or fate knocking? Ultimately, this fear delayed hygiene reforms until the 18th century, costing countless lives. Estimates peg medieval mortality from filth-related ills at tens of millions. The kicker: bathing could have curbed some chaos, but terror won. Your ancestors, they outlasted the odds by staying grimy guardians of the gene pool. This is you again, towel-wrapped and pampered, existing only because those filthy forebears braved a world where cleanliness killed. They survived diseases that'd flatten you, climates that'd freeze your soul, customs crazier than a conspiracy theory. You're the spoiled endpoint of their suffering. Congrats on winning the genetic lottery, you fragrant freeloader. If this twisted history made you chuckle while questioning your shower habits, smash that subscribe button to Spoiled Wisdom for more dark dives into why you're even here. Because let's face it, without us, you'd just be scrolling cat videos in ignorant bliss.